Hi everyone. Okay, maybe wait a little bit for people to show. Not found in type root query. Interesting. So I finally got things working, and it turns out it was, probably I did this like a silly mistake, which is, so if you go in here to the Lambda stuff and go to the identity sign up, let's try to log in. Home. Post not found in tape. Dashboard. Maybe log in again. Yep. Yeah, it was a silly thing. Before, I was returning an invalid JSON. So I was like saying, works. I expected that the Netlify identity will just look at the status code and see, okay, if it's 200, all is good. But it turns out it actually checks this body and tries to parse it to JSON. And since I was not sending valid JSON, the whole thing was failing. So that's why. I don't know if Netlify should be a little bit forgiving in here or something. And the way I found out all of this is I was looking at the network tab and then try to like validate the account with the token, and I checked the error message coming from the identity, and it was like, yeah, the webhook sent us an invalid JSON. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe then it expects some JSON. And I also looked in some tutorials related to the identity webhooks, and it turns out, yeah, in all the tutorials they are sending this empty body. So somehow I missed it somewhere. Maybe it's mentioned somewhere that the webhook should return a valid JSON, otherwise it will fail. And if the webhook fails, the whole confirmation flow will fail. So now I have 2 users, and I have a post right here. And what I did next is I went to post. In Hasura you can, before we go here, let me show you the second webhook. And this one we had no problem with it. So this what Hasura will use to validate the user. So whenever we send a request, we'll call this endpoint and then check, okay, is this user there or not? It will send the token, and then Hasura will do the validation. So this is, for example, a token that I got before. This is from an actual user that's logged into the web app, and I'm no longer using this admin secret. You can see it's unchecked. And if I go to Explorer, you can see here I can get, okay, Weird. Why am I... Okay, maybe the token is... okay. So let's get another token from here. So you can see here, this is like the token is used and it gets refreshed every hour. So what we do here is I will replace it. Maybe the whole thing, and then here, bearer. Or better, or whatever. Of course. Okay. Just... yeah, you can see here, I can see the data. And if I don't have the authorization, you can see I have no queries right here, unless I do admin. But admin is not that secure because it will expose all the tables and all the mutations, and we don't want to do that. We want to have a restricted access. Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm doing great, actually. I was talking about how I fixed finally the Hasura authentication stuff, and now we have like a pretty cool setup. It turned out that I was in the identity sign up webhook, I was returning a string, but I should have returned JSON. And I spent like 3 days debugging that. So yeah, that's I guess real life. So yeah, we now are able to use the user token that we generate through Netlify, and then that user token will like, if you can see here, like for users, we only can see the name, and we can get the ID, and here we can like list these users, but we can probably play around with the permissions more and more. No, I had to return, let me show you. So at the end here, I was, before, I was sending a random string saying works. But when you try to parse this, it's like invalid JSON. So what we need to do is either send like a valid JSON payload or just return this empty string right here. So this is like still valid JSON and it's empty. So that was the whole issue, because all my code was running and I could have added add users to the data, but somehow it was not working afterward. So yeah. So after I did the authentication, like I said, I had this validate user, and this will be called this will be called by Hasura every time we make a request for like like this one. So it will take this token and then send it to this endpoint, and Netlify will parse the the token already in here, and then we'll get a user, and then if there's a user, we get the user ID, and we send it as a header back to Hasura, and then Hasura can take this ID and check it against this users table, and then if it exists, we can do things. And the way you define these permissions is sorry. So let's go first to posts and permissions. I already created a new user role. So this admin is only active when we send the X Hasura admin secret. But now we want to use just this user because it's more limited access, and that's nice. So when we do select, so this is when we read, we want to check, okay, does this user exist? So we need to have to check, okay, do we have like, does the user exist? So to make sure we're like authenticated and everything, and it's not just a random user ID. And if it exists, we will return only these stuff when we don't return the user ID. And for, as you can see here, like for relationships, set permission for the corresponding tables or views. So we go to user and permissions, and for the role user, we can the user can probably will do also the update, but this is later on. You know, we have that update interface in here. You can change this full name. Probably will change this to like use a mutation and not use the Netlify metadata anymore, but use this table. So maybe, yeah. So in select, what we did here is also checked, okay, does this user exist? Is it a valid user who's requesting this data? And then if this is true, we will only allow the user to access the name, to see the name. And this is more than enough because we want to get the posts and their users. So probably also we can do like update right here. So for the update, what we can do is we do a custom check, and we will have the ID, and if the ID is equal to the current user, we will allow this update, and we will allow the update only on name and email. So these are the only two things that we want to allow the user to do. We don't allow them to change the ID, for example, or something like that. So that's an example of a permission in Hasura. All right. What's going on about okay. So we have two users and we have these posts. So I thought since we have something working, yeah, I was just talking about that. So here's what was going wrong. You see this body right here? This was sending a normal string like this before. And this is not a valid JSON. And what the Netlify identity expect is always a valid JSON. So at first I thought it's only expecting like a status 200, but it turns out it also expects any valid JSON. So it tries to like do JSON parse on the payload from the webhook, but since it's like saying works, it will tell you, hey, this is failing. So that was the issue, and to fix it, since I don't need to send anything back, probably will need later, I just did open bracket, closing bracket, and that was it. It was just working, all good. Yeah, and I showed some stuff around permissions, so probably later on in the recording you can see how I did that. And one more thing before we move on. I had to change a little bit how we set the Apollo client. So remember before we had the header authorization, and here we had like the Hasura secret. So not anymore. So we don't expose our admin secret anymore in the front end. And what we were doing instead is we're using this middleware. So we're telling Apollo, hey, every time you're making a request, call this function. And inside of this function, you can see here I am calling the get current user from my auth service that I have, like from the Netlify identity library, and I'm getting the token and then access token. Yeah, so that's the basic. This is the basic idea right here, and then still it is the same. I'm wrapping everything with the Apollo provider with that client, and this client will call this function every time you make a request. So we make sure that our header, our requests are always authenticated. And if there's no users, this will be like null. And then we will like say, okay, there's something wrong. All right, so I think that's, so thumbs, and let's remove some annoying stuff. And we have split is not used anymore. We'll probably need to use split again, but I don't know if split will work with like the middlewares. Yeah, but anyway, like the code is always on GitHub, so you can check it out how this thing changed. We checked the auth, all is good. All right, so so we have the permissions, and since I wanna I won't stay for long, I was thinking about like in this home page here. So you can see here like we have the posts, which is just one post right here, like some content, and I wanna maybe give a form and allow the user, once they're authenticated, to actually push some stuff to Hasura. So I'm thinking about, okay, let's maybe go to components and here add a new component and call it user input, post input. Let's name it editor or something. Or yeah, maybe let's call it post editor. So here we will import React from React, and this will be post editor. I don't know what will return yet. We don't know. And then we'll export this as default and post editor. But thank you. And by the way, thank you both of you actually for sticking around with me and like with all this frustration. I really appreciate it. It's nice to have you around. Okay, so now, so let's return some stuff. I guess we will have a form of some sort. Inside of the form, we will have. Yeah, thank you. So let's steal some. I mean, we already have like this stuff. Let's steal some of them from which one is this? Is setting. The dashboard now, dashboard. Where is it, dashboard? So let's get some stuff from here. We will have and then we have the button, and we go back to post editor. And let's see in home. Oh yeah, we need to probably add it in here. So we will import the post editor from post editor, and then probably put it before here, post editor. Let's see, it should appear somehow here. Okay. Set user. Oh yeah, okay. I need probably to clean up some stuff I copied. Yeah, so the basic idea is to add like an input field, and then any authenticated user can add some content. So that's the user generated part of the content. Okay, maybe. So, okay, let's also use some states right here. Use state. And here we'll have post and maybe set post. And this will be use state. And I guess inside of the post we will have title, which will be empty, and content, which also will be empty. And then this will be set post. And then here this will be title, and this is okay. And then here this will be, oh come on, this will be post content. Here is like a new post, and instead of full name this will be title, and this will be also title. Maybe do post title, and then where's the ID in here? Okay, post title, Let's see now. Okay, and then here this will be, oh man, post title. Okay. Let's just get rid of the whole thing right here, and then let me see. All right, so here you can see I have like a title. So let's add also something around for the content. And for the content, let me just copy copy the whole thing. And change a few stuff. So this will be post content. And then here we will have content. And we will have content. And here what we'll have is, okay, this should be like post, and then here we'll have content, and here this will be just post. And is there like some content? Okay, so now the idea is to use, so the user will like put something here. Okay, they didn't change the, okay, this is title, but the other one should be content. Yeah, so the idea now, I am authenticated. I can just enter some content and then hit save, and then the content should appear in here. So now we need to use the mutation. We have already something about mutation in here. So let's take that, and then I think they have like something like called lazy query, because we don't want to like run the use query right away. What we want to do is we want to run it when the user clicks. So yeah, it's not like post.content, but what I did is I spread. So right here, since we are setting the state for post, what we want to do is we will spread all the properties, and this is the spread syntax. So this is like, it's similar to if I want to do, for example, like right here, content, this will be post.content. Because if we set just the state with the title, it will like override the content and set it to undefined. So this is cool, but like imagine we will have more and more properties added to the post. We don't want to go here every time and then add, okay, another prop is like post.prop. So a cool way to do that, we just spread the whole object, and then only the title value will be overridden later on. So that's the whole idea before. And I think I'm probably doing it wrong, because probably we should have it like the function way. So we call set post and then pass in a function, and inside of that function we set the new state. But our use case is so simple right now. I will do like other streams about like refactoring and fixing stuff, because this is just getting things to work. Okay, so let's go to use lazy mutation, maybe. Apollo. Let's see, what do we have? Use query. Use lazy. Is there like mutation? No. Okay, so this is where can I see? Is it also like called use mutation? Update data. Okay, let's see this use mutation. Complete write data. No, I wanna have. Let's see. Apollo use mutation user action. I wanna trigger the mutation only if I have a user action. Update data with user message. The code blocks below. TypeScript. Okay, so we have user mutation. We have that, and when we return this with a login. Okay, let's go to the hooks API. I wanna explore some more stuff. API reference. Oh, this is hooks. I want is a primary API execution mutation upon application to run. You first call use mutation with the React component, blah blah blah, string. So we have this add to do. Now we'll create a component add to do that represents the submission. We'll pass the add to do mutation to the user mutation hook. Okay, add to do, blah, blah. Ah, okay. All right, okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense. I was thinking it's like something different, but here's the thing. Mutation. And what we need to do here is const add. Okay, so here we will have the add post, and then we get the data. Okay, and then in here this will be use mutation, and here we will have add post, and in the post will be, did we have this GraphQL tag or something else? Okay, let me check the user home. Okay, let's get that. So here we'll have add post, which will be GQL, and let's go to Hasura. What we want to do is call the insert post, add a new mutation. We will have the insert posts, and we'll have the title and the content. Title, and then we'll return affected rows. So title, content, and then this would run because we have, since we have the token, we don't need to pass the ID. This will be added automatically. So if you go to the data, using that token, Hasura will like get the user ID and then assign it magically right here. So this is all good. It's all covered and it's very neat. So here's what I'm gonna do. Where was the documentation that showed us the thing? Yeah, mutation. Okay. So in here, this will be mutation, and it's called add post. I'm gonna just copy this whole thing and then go here and then paste it. And now when we do the on submit right here, so like you see here, they have, where is it? They have the code with on sub. Here. Yeah, on submit, we need to prevent the default, and then, so here's what we're gonna do. First, we need to stop prevent the default. This is to not cause the page to refresh. And here's what we're gonna do. We will do, okay, so in here, this will be title, and the content will be content. And I think in the mutation also we need to define the variables. Yeah. So in add post, here we will have title, and this will be string and will be required, and also content. This will be string and it's required. So it's kind of like similar to calling a function. And mutation will give us this add post from the mutation. And now we'll do add post. And here we need to pass in our variables. So we will create a function. This will be variables. And here we will have, I mean, we simply can like spread post, or we just give it post here, because post also has title and content. And I need to close this bracket right here. Yep. So now, hopefully, if we like do something nice, a new post from stream. This is the first one, and then we hit sub. Let's check the network, and then hit submit. It did refresh, so probably something. I think maybe the button is somehow influencing that. Yeah. So let's see. All things went crazy. Font name content. What did I do wrong? Title. Yeah. You are right. So dashboard, I'm here. Okay. Hit save. So it did send our query, and yes, the data is here. So maybe let's do something like really crazy. Hello, Hasura. I am now able to add content from the app while authenticated. I hit save, and watch for the like the list here. This will increase something. I will add a new post, and here. And then if we refresh, the data is actually still there. And if we go to our post table, we have more data. And this is like the last one I wrote, and it actually has my user ID. And it's working. This is awesome. All right, I think this is a good way to end the stream, and we will continue tomorrow looking at more stuff. Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna push the code to the repo, check it out. Go to rubbergoose.dev also, play around, add some posts, but don't spam it. And yeah, see you, I guess, in the next one. Bye.